Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. And yeah, I really do need to finish that manuscript for the collection out next year. No pressure, right? I'd also really like now to see some kind of musical collaboration, some kind of Cornish emo metal thing. I think you can't be dropping things like that for us to hear and then not expect us to want more. So again, no pressure. And on a more serious note, I'm just really, really happy to be here. I'm having such a great time. So thank you for inviting me to be part of tonight and to be part of the gang, the Broken Sleep gang. I am really happy to have this real life book in my hands as well. And I love the cover design by the one and only Aaron Kent. Not Aaron, as someone once called him. And the pamphlet is called Proverbs for a Woman Drinking Alone, and it sort of looks at moments of the spectrum between like alone and lonely. So for me, alone is a very different feeling to lonely, and sort of the poems look at that spectrum in between. And it was a process. The process of writing it was kind of affirming and comforting, and I hope it offers the same to you if you read it. I'm also going to do 6 poems tonight, which that 666 thing is again a nice synergy with the whole death metal thing, so that's good. And I should also say that there will be swearing in most, if not all, of the poems, and some will describe kind of sexy things. So that's a little warning to you, should that be something that you want to know about in advance. And if you want to be surprised by that, just forget I said anything. Okay, here we go. The first poem is called For the Future Museum. For the Future Museum. Eat a spiralized dinner. Watch the new adult Disney. Sieve a bottle of Diet Pepsi. Prepare the daily sock ceremony. Count the door slams. Collect Kirby grips from the carpet in lieu of a hobby. Tell the printer to go fuck itself. Pickle my scrolling thumb. Ignore the scented candle. Leave the house and tut loudly. Reset a boomer's Gmail password. Watch the London Stadium fill up with bodies. Sniff the oat milk for signs of life. Call a social worker for Chip from Beauty and the Beast. High five everyone on Twitter. Respond to the text from Papa John's. Pretend to be the CEO of the frozen peas. Forward the survey to 5 email contacts. Fuck a houseplant. Two's a bath bomb. How come my jaw won't open? That was written at the height of lockdown, as you might be able to tell from the kind of insanity that was there. Okay, the next poem, I want to start by saying that it's sort of it's in 3 parts, this poem, and each part uses the same words rearranged in a different way. And the reason why I'm saying that to you now is because I think when you see it on the page, that's quite obvious, but when you hear it, that might not be as obvious. So consider that a little guidance, a sonic guidance note. In my mayonnaise half-life, I spent a year washing. I held a rifle, clay pigeon shooting with a gang of toffs who said they were hard. I used to be a sister. He was 24 when I stopped. There were a few times when I relaxed my screw face on the night walk. Late summer balm had me all loose. Dad once told me I should have been a wrestler or a singer. Once, my screw-face sister gang had me shooting clay toffs. Late summer, they were spent on a night walk with a 24. Held a year when Dad should have been a balm or a rifle. He used. I stopped washing. There were a few times when I said who I was, relaxed the all of me. I pigeon singer, I loose wrestler, I told to be hard. A late summer wrestler once used me, had me on a rifle. Be loose, he said. I spent 24 times washing my screw face with nightwalk balm. A few toffs were there. They were all a gang. Should I have told Dad? I was a sister, a hard pigeon who stopped the year shooting clay. When held to a singer, I relaxed. The next one's called I'd like for my closest people to act like strangers in the swimming pool changing rooms, diligently rubbing muffs dry with bubbled towels, one leg up on the bench. Or like strangers at the cinema, indulging in a good horror, sharing the odd collective gasp, then exiting to separate bus stops. I'd like to recover my teeth from all the grinding, retrieve my lost enamel dust, then fold it into slick white glue dollops and newspaper, and make a tiny statue of myself that I can hold in front of my face at parties. The next time we see each other, let's pretend that we've met only once and you can't remember my name. When you say my name, it's like cling film tight on my chunky drumsticks. I want to multiply my own company, treat us all to a silent retreat in the Cotswolds, separate bedrooms, all en suite. Really, all I want from life is free sanitary towels, to lie on a soft carpet in front of a screensaver of a log fire. Give me one choice of moisturizer, a quiet stomach, the cartilage of a 12-year-old boy training for the local surf championships. Should have done my warm-ups before, you know, little choir warm-ups. Okay, the next poem is the title poem for the book. Proverbs for a woman drinking alone. If a woman drinks undisturbed in a forest, does she even exist? A man walks into a bar and ruins the woman's evening. If a woman never has to hold her tongue, what does the cat get? The man with a long face thinks he's a gift horse. He leads himself to drink. It's raining men, and a hard man is good to find. Find a keeper, losers find her. Make sex, not love. Better late than first thing in the morning. The early bird has worms. Easy come, not so easy come. Remember, good things come to those who masturbate. Action man speaks louder than Barbie. She shouldn't put all her eggs in one basket unless she's considering freezing them. The clocking bomb of her biological time, ticking every list off her bucket before she kicks it. Keeping mum for later. Son is a bitch, like father, daddy issues. Don't know if you can hear that, but there's like an ominous dog barking outside my window, which makes me feel quite like witchy. So I'm going to just cheers that dog for a second. I've got two more poems, two more short poems. Self-care. I download a playlist of sad, sexy women with large guitars and kinkless hair, a hip flask full of Gaviscon at their belt buckles. Some have hot glued glitter to the rim of their Stetsons. In the bath, I invent a private ASMR, hone in on the intakes of breath, snatched between every ooh la la la. Legs tense in the bubbly water, the prune skin of my index and middle fingers. Under covers, I indulge my obsession with Joan from Mad Men. Brightness turned all the way up. I pinch the screen to assess her particular shade of lip, the plum dress she wears in episode 6. I practice her walk at a party, hold my pint like it's a brandy Alexander. And when another man explains the real meaning of Fight Club, I quietly remind myself of the true size of my clitoris. Last poem. It's also the last poem in the book. It's almost like I chose it on purpose. Autobiography redacted. All she knows now is fear and a hankering for meat. Once, she slurped a boy whole in a phone booth. It was New Year's. There were fireworks. Her skin hasn't aged since she was 6 months old, but her fruits have been dried out by men who never go to work, own houses, and play in multiple street bands. She discovered she didn't care for anal or seafood or bank holidays. Why not work through the weekend and bunk off Monday? Midday tinny in the park, the whole place to yourself. Thank you. And I also just want to shout out some people who I see are in the audience, and that is it's a group that has the longest name in the world, but the post-emerging Unislam group, who were a group of us who are like in a little editorial feedback group, and we spent like all of lockdowns just obsessing over this Google document where we would comment on each other's poems, and I really owe them a lot for helping me shape up some of that work. So thank you to them as well, and thank you for having me here tonight. It's great to be amongst such great company.